Hey guys, Daddy again. Quite excited by the end of the last chapter when their dad came and saved Finn from the terrible Minotaur. So I've stayed in the same position but changed seats. So you can see the pool and things behind me now. And I've extended my selfie stick. Yep, see if I can extend it any further. Nope, that's it. So right, straight into chapter 4. Like other blighted villages around the world, with names such as World's End, Hell's Gate, Bloodrock, Leviathan and Carnage, Darkmouth had been home to generations of legend hunters, families who swore to protect the world against the unending attacks from what they called the infested side. Except the attacks did end, mostly. Each year had brought fewer reports of humans captured or killed by legends, and the legends captured or killed by legend hunters. In blighted villages after blighted village, the attacks had slowed down or died out completely. For the first time in thousands of years, our world appeared to be sealed off from the realm of legends. After many generations of war, the legend hunters could stand down, except for one village, except for one family. "You were fine," said Finn's dad breezily. "I had you covered the whole time." "That thing almost killed me, Dad." "You know I would never let that happen," said Dad. "It didn't feel like that," said Finn. "Look, Finn, don't be so hard on yourself. You did well, a little loose in parts maybe, but you weren't exactly chasing after a chicken there, were you? And don't be sour. Most 12-year-olds would die for a chance to run around chasing a Minotaur legend." "Die," said Finn. "Oh, you know what I mean," said Dad. Finn's father held his gaze for another moment before giving his son a gentle punch on the arm and picking up the desiccated remains of the Minotaur. Wearily, Finn unhooked the container from his belt and entered a code into a keypad on its side. The lid hissed open, releasing a small cloud of blue gas and the faint tang of what smelled like orange juice. His father placed the round object in the box and pressed the lid shut. It'll have a ball in there," he said. Finn shook his head in mild disdain. "Oh, suit yourself," said his dad as he grabbed the container and began to walk out of the alley. "Get out of that gear and I'll drive you to school, Finn," said his dad. "School? Seriously? How am I supposed to go to school after that? I'm not going. I'm just not." But his dad didn't stop, so Finn reluctantly picked up his desiccator and started to follow. A glint of light in the rubble caught his eye. A tight curve of crystal lying where the Minotaur had been desiccated. It looked like the diamond that had been in the creature's nose. How odd. Finn picked it up and examined its jagged beauty. He began to call after his father, but stopped himself. If he was being forced to go to school after all, then he wanted a reward. He slipped the diamond into his pocket before jogging clumsily on, his suit of armour clattering all the way. They drove through Darkmouth, their car a large black metal block on wheels, its seats torn out to make room for lines of weapons and tools of various shapes and sizes and sharpnesses. There were a few people on the streets now, though most had their heads buried in hoods, their faces down, protecting themselves from the drizzle. Looking like the last place on earth they wanted to be was the last place on earth where legends still invaded. It didn't exactly help their mood that legends always brought rain with them. That's funny, isn't it? I wonder if there's been lots of legends in England just lately because it's been so wet. "It's always the same when a gate opens," Finn's dad observed. "At least a small gateway means only a light shower. There was a time when bigger gateways brought terrible storms. The old stories blamed them on the gods, as if." Finn didn't answer. His father tutted and the car swung right. Before jumping into the passenger seat, Finn had thrown his suit into the rear of the car. On his lap were his store bag and his desiccator. He held the canister in front of his face and gave it a rattle. "It never ceases to amaze me, that trick," said his father. Finn felt a spark of sympathy for the creature trapped in the box. From the outside, the only evidence that a desiccator's next victim might once have been something living was the way the exterior of the resulting ball was coated in whatever the creature had been wrapped in originally. Fur, scales, skin, leather trousers. Doesn't it seem a bit cruel to do this to them, Dad? Maybe you prefer to tickle the next Minotaur into submission, said his dad, or pet him and offer him a biscuit. Seriously, Finn? He glanced across at his son and noticed his scowl. OK, so this morning didn't go too perfectly. Neither did the last time, said Finn, grimacing. Yes, but all the time before that, said Finn. Well, my point, Finn, is that you are learning, said his dad. You're only 12 years old. I was the same when I was your age. Did I ever tell you about the time I... Yes, you did, said Finn, with a sigh. And the day I... Yes, that too, said Finn. All I ever hear about are the great things you did when you were my age. You defeated this legend, you invented that weapon. Unless you've a story that ends with you falling down a toilet or something, you're not going to make me feel any better right now, said Finn. The car pulled up at school. Finn didn't move. His father shifted a little, the armour of his fighting suit creaking in the seat. Oh, it's not all bad news, he started. How is this not bad news? Interrupted Finn, dismay in his voice. My completion ceremony is only a year away, Dad. When did you turn 12? 2 weeks ago. So the ceremony is 11.5 months away, to be accurate. Plenty of time still. What about this morning? Did you not see? Said Finn, shaking his head in disbelief. Finn, our family has defended Dartmouth for 42 generations. Well, I haven't, but you will, said his dad. You're going to be generation number 43. I won't be ready. Dartmouth is going to be your responsibility. It can't be, protested Finn. It has to be, his father. His father let a hush settle in the vehicle before continuing. Anyway, the Council of 12 has been in touch, he said. They have good news. Does it have to do with me? Asked Finn. No. Well, yes, kind of, his father paused. The 12 have offered me a place on the council. 42 generations, Finn, and not one of our family has ever been invited to become one of the leaders of the World Legends Council. Sure, most of the legend hunters are sitting at home getting fat right now, but still it's a huge thing for us, a big honour. And hold on, said Finn, you'll be on the Council of 12? Yes, isn't that excellent? Aren't they based in Liechtenstein? Small place with big mountains? So you'll be out of Dartmouth, asked Finn. Yes, said his dad, sometimes. And me? No. Oh, great, said Finn, feeling a great weight settling on his shoulders. You're going to be protecting Dartmouth all by myself, and you're going to be up in the mountains sitting on a council meeting. Finn stared at him as his brain tried to process this notion. It doesn't change anything, Finn, said his father. Well, not much, anyway. You're about to become the first true legend hunter to graduate in years. Dartmouth was always going to become your responsibility at some stage after that, and I won't be going straight away. The 12 say there'll be a process and some checks. What kind of checks? His dad shrugged. I don't know, background stuff. Subject to confirmation of Rule 31, Clause 14 of whatever. You know, paperwork stuff. The 12 love their paperwork. Anyway, it's happening. He cleared his throat. Just as soon as you become complete. And what if I'm not ready? Said Finn, with a squeak of his fighting suit on the car's seat. His dad turned to look at him directly. Finn, every legend hunter in this family, had their completion on their 13th birthday. Every single one, as far back as records go. They could have waited until they were 15 or 17 or even 19, like weaker families, but they didn't. So our family, past, present and future, need you to be ready. I need you to be ready. This town needs you to be ready. You will be ready. Finn pushed open the car door and stepped out. Oh, I feel so much better. Thank you, Dad. As he swung the door shut, Finn saw his reflection in the window. His hair was damp, his skin flushed. He opened his mouth to protest again about having to go to school, but his father cut him off. We'll talk about it later, he said. Finn stood at the curb with his badge slung over his shoulder, listening to the low growl of the car as it drove off. The drizzle tittled on his forehead. In his pocket, he felt the buzz of his phone. There was a message from his mother. Deep breaths. Love you. Kiss, kiss, kiss. He took a deep breath, then another, steeling himself for the next challenge. School. The end. Okay, boys. Heads down on your pillows. Finger out of your nose, Ted. Toby, head down on your pillow. Right, love you both very, very much. Love your cousins too. Night-night, George. Night-night, Emily, if you're listening. Mwah, mwah. Okay, take care. I'll download another one today as well, so you've got one for tomorrow night. Okay, love you all. Bye.